Rightio, good people, we are back. Podcast with Pari, season 2. We're taking a bit of a break, but we're back full guns ahead. All right, we've got some great guests lined up for you for this coming season. So be excited, be sure to tune in. This first episode, we've got our one and only Taps Mashwede, Danger. So get excited for this episode. We just want to give a big thank you to Highlands House for having us here today. What a venue, full of class and prestige. If you don't know about it, get to know about them. We'll put all their details below, but what a beautiful place, and thank you for having us. Get excited, we are back. What a time to be alive, baby. What a time to be alive. Welcome. Season 2, podcast with Pari, we're back. We're sitting here with the one and only Taps Mashwede, Danger. I'm also known as Danger. And I just wanted to start off by saying, obviously I've only recently met you, haven't known you for a very long time, maybe met 1 or 2 times at social events. And I always hear people calling you Danger. And you are probably one of the nicest guys I've probably ever come across. Very easily approachable, very down to earth. And to have this nickname Danger, it almost doesn't suit, But I just wanted to know why this nickname Danger would come about, but also just welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Pari. Well, Danger's a long story. I started off in Form 1, first day of high school at St. Ignatius. Someone just looks at me. I don't know this guy. Comes up to me and says, "You look like Danger Mouse." So I was like, "What?" So the nickname kind of stuck because I didn't like it. But then they started teasing me about it. Until about Form 3 when I told them, "Hey guys, you can't call me Danger Mouse around the girls. So just keep it as Danger."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's stuck since then.
And it's stuck.
Danger. Well, Danger Mouse. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here. For those of you that don't know you, you're Taps Mashwede, part of the Mashwede Holdings group. And the group does, I'm sure many people would know a lot, You're leaders of industry here in Zim, and it's so good to have you sitting by the couch, just on the couch with me, So thank you. I want to hear a bit about maybe you growing up and your bit of your story.
So my name is actually Mashamanda. My surname Mashamanda. Wede is my grandfather's surname.
Okay. So
my dad formed a company which was joining my grandfather's first name and his last name, Mashwede. So that's where Mashwede comes from. So I come from a family of 7. I'm 5th in the family. My older siblings were, I always looked up to them, straight A students, very intelligent, very bright. First one's a doctor. Then there's a lawyer. There's an actuary, CA. I'm a CA myself. My younger brother has got his master's in economics, and my sister's got honors in fashion.
So you definitely weren't short on the brain side of things. Never.
So we're originally from Mashingo, Triana Moyendizo, from Chivi, Sese. So growing up, it was always competitive because I think as the firstborn and the lastborn, like to get attention, you need to breathe. But as a middle child, you have to actually sweat. So that's how I grew up. So
And you went to school in here in Zim?
Yeah. I started off primary school. I was at Hatfield Primary. Went to Dudley Hall. Went to St. Ignatius. Then Peterhouse. But it was always competitive. So my journey from St. Ignatius to Peterhouse was the most interesting for me because my old man told me that if I passed, you would take me to any school that I wanted, and I always used to look up to going to Peterhouse. So I put in a lot of work. I got very good grades for my O levels, and first thing that happened when I got to Peterhouse was we go to the dining hall and people are complaining about ice cream.
Yeah.
They were complaining that they were having ice cream every day. First thing in my mind, you are having ice cream every day.
What's the problem? Why are you complaining?
Where's the problem?
Yeah.
So other guys are protesting about it. They don't want to have the ice cream. I was like, okay, no problem. Like I support your protest. Just give the ice cream to me.
I'll take all your ice cream.
I'll take all your ice cream. So it was quite a shift. It was like you saw the difference in the different classes, different worlds, and it helped me grow because now I had an appreciation of how things were. And from having siblings, like most of my siblings had a lot of friends that I would get to interact with from a lot of different schools.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up getting to know a lot of people.
I think it's such a blessing that to be able to experience both on both sides of the railway, if you want to call it
Yeah.
that, and to be able to experience what it's like to come from a society that's less privileged to then go to one that's not, to get the full picture. It just teaches all of us, it teaches all of us to be the best rounded person you can, because you're never going to go to Peter House and now become stuck up, and because you know your roots, and that's probably, I don't want to speak for you, but that's probably why your network is so big, and that's why you are the humble man that I spoke about earlier, and the most accommodating, sort of approachable guy, is because of that.
Yeah, there are a lot of things. My dad has always been one of the kindest people you will ever meet, and he's tried to instill that in all of us as his kids to just be kind. Just make sure you leave any place better than how you got there. So that, and just having this dynamic thing towards having different social classes, it helped me when I went to university.
Yeah.
I went to University of Cape Town, and at the time, everyone in first year was partying it up. I was in a long distance relationship, very committed, like I wasn't having it. By the end of the year, I was tired of being this good guy. So I came back and I was like, I'm gonna host a party. So I was just expecting it to be just a small little get together with a few friends. We did it, and it was this massive turnout. And when we were done with it, I realized this is actually an opportunity for me. Like I can actually earn some extra bucks from getting people to come drink at one spot.
But what was your motive behind starting this party? Why did you just want to just throw a party? What was your reasoning behind it?
Like a lot of people have been like really partying the whole of my first year, and I wasn't going out as much. Like because I was just really really calm, and this was my chance because like was at the end of the year. My birthday is at the end of the year, so I was just like I was gonna have a birthday party, a big one, and just have a good time. At the end of the day, I realized this is something that I could make some.
Monetize.
I could monetize because clearly I had a good enough network to actually get a lot of people there.
So what sort of people? Who was at your party? Was it from everyone? Was it Saint Ignatius? Was it Peter House? Was it
Mixture of everybody.
really?
So by the time we're done, we're now having house parties whereby thousands of people would come through with some very very big parties. If you know anyone in Zimbabwe, just ask them about a danger party.
That was on Q Drive, yeah,
On
no?
Q Drive, yes.
I
So
think all of us once upon a time in life have been to a danger party.
yeah,
There would have been a time where you somehow you just ended up there at a danger party, and you're right. There were thousands of people there.
so when we finished the danger parties, we got I had actually come back from UCT, and I joined Ernest and Young to become a chartered accountant. I joined in 2010. So I stopped the party life. I was like, I'm now corporate. Like I can't be doing this, and that devastated my brother because I've always been partners with my younger brother Tendai. So everything we're doing at the time would work together, the hustle and bustle, like we did it together. So when I said I was or we're stopping the parties, he was like, ah. So we stopped those. I did my articles. I finished 2013. Then myself and my brother said, okay, we're going to go join the old man. at Mashwede.
What was your old man doing at the time?
Mashwede was mainly a construction company at the time,
Okay.
and a bit into fuel. But the day I joined, my old man, I'm now a CA. I told my old man, "Hey, give me money, like give me good money, and I'll work for you."
Yeah.
He says, "We're broke." I'm like, "No, you're lying. We can't be broke today. Like I just joined you today."
Yeah.
He showed me the numbers. Like it was really, really bad.
So you were genuinely broke at the time, or or the company
Like the
was.
company was like struggling. So we went. So myself and my brother were like, okay, no problem. So we went years without getting paid by my dad. Like I remember my son was young at the time. I couldn't afford to buy him like the basics, Pampers, and I would have to ask friends for help. A few friends would give me here and there, and it was a really tough time. But then some of my friends were all over the world, um, enjoying their life, they're having the best life. Because after you qualify as a CA, you get very good jobs, you can travel, you can do this. So in 2015, I had it. I said, no, old man, I'm going. So I went back to Ernest Young for 6 months, beginning of 2015. I was like, old man, I'm done. Started applying to get out of Zim because to me, this was by far the most difficult place I'd ever been. Like, okay, only Zim in South Africa at the time, but
But it was a hard sort of environment to navigate at the time.
it
Eh?
was it was it was terrible at the time.
Is it any better today?
I doubt it. Zim has its challenges, which because of a lot of things that happened in our past. So it's going to take time for us to rebuild as a nation. And if you look at the rest of the world, every country in the world also went through these different phases. So I think at the moment we're still in that phase whereby it's still
Still
very
do.
difficult,
Yeah.
especially for young people. We're trying to get into the job market, first job, recent graduates, even people without the necessary
Skills.
skills or the education. Like it gets more and more difficult to actually earn a living at the moment. But
We'll touch on that later.
yeah,
But let's go back to when you went to Ernst Young 2015.
okay. 2015. So I applied to leave the country because I've had it with this place. So I have a job interview in Papua New Guinea. It was an online one. I'm getting ready for it. I'm doing some research.
In Papua New Guinea.
Hey, Papua New Guinea.
Why? What? Why would you be? Or like, did you seek after it, or did you just see there was an opening?
Like there was an opening. Like I went on the Ernst Young platform, and there was an opening in Papua New Guinea. So I applied for it. Before the interview, I found out it's a third world country just above Australia. Okay, third world, I can do that. Like I'm Zimbabwean, I'm
Yeah.
okay with third world. Um, but it has live volcanoes, tsunamis, earthquakes. Like think of any natural disaster, they probably have it.
Yeah.
It has that was my clicking point in my life. It was at that moment when I saw that, when I realized, what am I doing? I looked at the people I knew, the resources around me, and the resources in the nation that I was in. And it's at that moment that I realized, okay, if I probably leave, I'm gonna need to put in 15-hour day shifts um, anywhere in the world to be able to compete against the best. There's nowhere in the world whereby you can just say, I've put in 8 hours and you will actually progress. So
No.
15 hours, 12, 15 hours a day is pretty much the basic to make it anywhere in the world. Standard. I asked myself, had I put that for my old man? No, I hadn't. I'd put in 6 hours at best. So I went back to my old man and my brother, and I told them, guys, I'm going to put in 80-hour weeks. And I'm going to make sure this thing works, but I need your help. I need you to put in 80 hours with me. My old man, of course,
So
is
is this
also,
into the construction business? Is this into the fuel side of things, or is this
at the time we
is
were
this
so
everything?
broke. We were so broke that it was everything.
because what I want to sort of just to break it down for the people that are listening, you know,
Yeah.
is like when people say, and I admire it, when people say like I've put in 20-hour weeks or 40-hour, 80-hour weeks. What is it that you're actually like practically? What are we doing? What does that 80 hours look like? You
So,
know?
so you get in the office, you have no plan, but you're creating a plan from scratch that if any opportunity comes my way, I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
So in the construction industry that we were in at the time, redid all the books to see where we were going wrong. And we saw that some of our clients were paying us after very, very long periods of time. So we sat down as a team, we restructured. We said we need fast moving businesses with fast moving. So then
Fast turnover, quick.
turnover. Because of the environment, we couldn't afford to wait for an invoice with high profit margins and wait for it for a year. We wanted small margins but fast.
Cash today, cash tomorrow, cash every day.
So we had to rebuild our whole business model. And that doesn't, it's not like us sitting down and saying we're rebuilding and it's going to be like just done. You actually have to plan for months and months and months so that by the time any opportunity comes in the industry, you can take it up because you're ready for it. So we did this not knowing which opportunity would come
Yes,
first.
yeah.
Then one day, lucky enough, the fuel opportunity came, and we grabbed it.
What was that opportunity?
At the time, because of our construction network, we were able to tap into a lot of construction companies that we could supply fuel to. So there were some people who came and offered us some fuel to on sale for them. So initially, we started off selling a few thousand liters, and that grew and it kept growing, and until it became a whole viable business. We managed to put up a service station in Pari, which took years as well. It was a struggle because of finances and other disturbances that happened. Took us about 7 years, and after we finished building that, the banks saw like our vision, and they started backing us. But that's the funny thing about banks. We had a vision before. They wouldn't back us before they saw that we were actually able to do it. Then after, so I get a lot of young people who say, no one is willing to back me. I've got an idea, but no one is willing to give me money. Give
Yeah.
me money. No one is giving you money until you show them that
That you can do it. Proof of concept.
proof of concept. Like, and we had to hustle, bustle, and do whatever it took for people to start believing in us.
But you know what it is? Sometimes you really do have an idea, and you do need the money to get going. But how do you even prove the concept? Say you need, I don't know. Say you need even $500 to open up a company, and you don't have that $500. Okay,
Yeah.
and you need to open up a company in order to start trading and get a bank account or whatever. I'm just using this as an example. If your idea might be brilliant, but if no one is going to back you, or you can't go to the bank and ask them for a loan because they don't back you, then where do you stuck? It's almost like a dead end.
Unfortunately, what comes first, the chicken or the egg?
That's it.
And it's the way of the world. There's some countries that have the luxury of giving you that money before you prove it. Then there's some countries like us whereby it's not possible.
So what's the practical step
The
forward?
practical step forward is you show someone. Okay, I believe money is very shy, but once you show it where to go, it will come to you hand over fist. So initially, you have to understand money is very shy. You go into a bank, you ask for money, they don't know you. They don't know whether you are the best person who's ever come to them or one of the worst.
Yeah.
They know nothing about you. And this is someone who's trying to protect his job. You're not going to be there
Giving you money.
giving you money when it's going to cost them their job.
Yeah.
So until you have proved yourself, I don't know how you're going to do it. Like,
But find a way, basically.
Find a
way
way.
to prove yourself.
find a way to prove yourself. If you need $100,000 for your project, start off your project with $5. Do something with the bare minimum,
Yeah.
and with the bare minimum, you keep scaling up. So
I think that's great advice. I think, because because what often happens is when people say I can't get the funding, I can't do it, then they stop completely and they're like, frick, well, this is going nowhere. So rather start with what you have, use what's around you, and then sort of grow from that, right?
And like I'll give you an example. We didn't have a single dollar to build the service station in Pari, and my father said, dig the hole for the tanks. I went to him and I was like, yo, old man, we don't have the money to build the service station. What he said to me changed my life. He said, once I see a hole every day, I know I've made a commitment to finish this thing. So we dug the hole for a tank. We didn't have money to buy the tanks. We didn't have money to build a service station, but it
The hole
happened
is there.
because there was a hole. So sometimes people are not even willing to even try because they say we don't have the money. Money shouldn't stop you. If your idea is good enough, keep going.
Amen.
So for us, that led on to us building getting finance from the bank to build our next project, which was the service station, club, and fast food outlet in Glenview. So with that one, we didn't want. Okay, myself and my brother said no, the club doesn't. It's not gonna work. My dad said I want a club. We said no.
These are after your party days now, huh?
Now, like,
Or were you still in it? Were you still
no,
partying?
no, I wasn't partying. I had a young family. Like, I was concentrating on that. Then my old man says, "Well, we're putting a club because, I'm retiring and I just want a place whereby I hang out with my friends. It doesn't have to be anything big."
Yeah.
So we put it up. Then we go to the place, like a soft opening before everyone is there, and we realize, yo, this place is amazing. And we start inviting a few friends over, and they start enjoying it. They invite a few friends over. Next thing is thousands of people every night coming through.
This is what we know now as Mashwede village.
This is what you know as Mashwede village now. Contrary to public belief, it wasn't our idea. It was actually my old man's
Really?
idea.
So Bali was like, let's put a club. Let's put a club at this joint. There's no clubs. I want a place to hang out with my friends. Let's make it pop.
Yeah, let's make it pop. And
I want to go back. Sorry,
Yeah.
to just whilst we're on the line of this, okay? Because obviously this was Bali's idea. This was
Yeah.
Dad's idea, okay? And back in the day, you had on Q, you had on Q Drive, you had your own house parties.
Yes.
Did you make money from that? Like, did you ever make money from any of those house parties you threw?
We made a lot of money at the time.
So how long did this go on for?
I think 2006 to around 2011, about 5 years, yeah.
And what's the most amount of money you made in a night?
Per night, we made a
What's
lot.
the most amount you made in one night?
Turnover of about 40,000 euros,
Shut up.
I promise.
At your house party?
Different events. We were now going all over Zimbabwe. We're now going to South Africa to host events as well. So
Made 40K in one night.
40K in one night.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So-
And you didn't know the idea to start this club, even though you're making 40K. Your dad was like, "No, let's start this club."
I was now wearing a suit and tie. I was done with that life.
You were done. You were done.
Yeah. So
That's amazing.
Now when we managed to build everything, now the expansion. We've now started expanding into other industries. We're now into
So I've got a list here.
Yeah.
That I've written down.
Yeah.
Of just some of the Mashwede sort of brands.
Okay, yeah.
So you got Mash Holdings, which is the parent company.
Yes.
And then you got your Mash your Mash chicken, pizza, your pizza mash and Mash treats, which is your fast food division.
Yes.
Okay, then you got Mash Gas.
Yes.
And then you got Mashwede Village. Okay, you got traditional mash. What's traditional mash?
It's part of the food chain that sells traditional food.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And then you got Suckmore Investments.
Yes.
What's that?
It's the holding company for the fast food.
For the fast food. Okay.
Yeah.
Club Danger. That sounds like you.
That's a club.
That sounds like you.
That's the club.
Where's Club Danger?
It's in Glenview.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it next door to Mashwede Village or is it?
It's part of Mashwede.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And then you got Ropilex or Rapalex.
Yeah, it is one of the wings that does electrical supplies.
Okay,
Yeah,
electrical supplies.
yeah.
Then you got land. I'm Legrandi or
Yes.
Legrandi.
That one also does electrical supplies.
Okay. Then mash wash, a car wash.
Yes, car wash service that we used to have, but we're reopening now. We had actually stopped it, but like it's we're opening again.
And I also saw that you do like you do earth moving and also financing for people. So what division does that fall under?
Yo, that's part of that's a division of Mashwede. So the
Okay.
construction business has always been under Mashwede, but the original company was M&H Educational Suppliers.
Okay.
That's the one my dad started off in 1989. It supplied schools with textbooks, stationery, and the like. So M&H Educational Suppliers is one of our. It is actually the core where we started, and M&H became Mashwede.
Okay.
So M&H was really prominent in the 90s. It hosted a lot of under 17 soccer tournaments. And a lot of the guys who made it to the national team in Zimbabwe
Have
in
come
the,
through those grassroots.
came through those grassroots in the 2000, in the early 2000s to the early 2010s.
Any big names we would know?
Probably
Knowledge.
I wouldn't know if knowledge was part of it, but most of the guys, if you actually ask
Have
them
you
about
seen
that
it?
tournament,
Yeah.
because it ran for 12 years, and a lot of the guys, M&H Educational Suppliers sponsored most of those tournaments, the under
Okay.
17 tournaments.
I want to touch on just the amount that you got going on in this company.
Yeah.
Okay. And so obviously you said you started with a service station back then, and then you started this club and then the fast food. How is it just a snowball effect? How like like why do you, because a lot of some of these things are in such different industries and sectors, right? How do you pivot from say going into a car wash to electricals? You know, like what's a thought process, or how do you get there?
The funniest one for me was the abattoir, because we actually have a chicken abattoir that does 150,000 birds per month.
Wow.
That one was the funniest because my old man just came and says, I want to start a chicken abattoir. I told him I do not know anything about farming chickens or slaughtering. It's like we just hired the best people and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So we just
And you
started.
did it.
You just hire the best and you figure it out. That
Do you
pretty much.
do you feel like when you've obviously in the beginning now when you started these you started making now a bit of money,
Yeah.
you started now turning over some ammo, and now you've got the liberty to now really diversify into whatever you want to. Would you say that's the case? Is that how it happens? Is that how we see in-score grow? Is that how we see? Do you know what I mean?
I wouldn't know about InSchool. I look up to them because of how they've done so well in environments like the Zim environment over such a long time. And initially, for us, my dad started M&H Educational Suppliers. He was a bank manager. His brother was unemployed. So he started everything to employ his brother. So for us, our main concept is job creation. So the reason we've been pivoting and doing what we're doing is we've got a target of how many jobs we're creating and how many people we're helping. So at our peak, just before COVID, we got to almost 1,000 employees,
Wow.
and COVID came. It hit us hard. We had to let go of some people, and we landed at around 500, which is a half. But the impact it had on me, seeing how difficult it is for former employees to actually just earn a living, because in Zim it's not like you're going to lose your job and get another one after a week. You can go for a very long time without getting a new one. And just seeing how difficult it is for people who could put food on the table, after a few months, it was really bad. So I've put it upon myself that my only legacy, which I would want, which is coming from what my dad's legacy is is to create jobs,
Yeah.
because Zimbabweans, we need to help each other, and the only way I see we can help each other right now is create as many jobs as we can.
When you go into, and I just want to say amen to
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and well done.
Thank
You
you.
know, when
Yeah,
you go into job creationism, when that's your heart behind it,
yeah.
I think obviously the bottom line numbers of your businesses still have to make sense, and you want to grow, right? But if when your heart is postured in the right place to say this is not only for me, but now someone can send their child to school, they can put food on the table, and you're doing that for 1,000 people. I think the Lord will only multiply your territory, and
Thank you.
He'll give you more, and you're testament to that. And I just want to give you a big congratulations and well done, and thank you
Thank
for
you.
doing what you're doing for our
Thank you.
people in Zim and for our country. You know, it's what we need. You are the young people that we need in Zim. This is what's going to take us forward. You
Thank
know,
you.
which leads me to my next question: where do you see the opportunity, the future for young people in Zim? Why can we not find jobs here? What you know?
Okay, so for me, what I believe is, in the history of the world, every country has gone through phases, good phases, bad phases. And we are going through a rough patch right now. But we have to look at the silver lining. We have millions of Zimbabweans in the diaspora who have the necessary skills, necessary networks to rebuild our country. We have millions of Zimbabweans who are eager and able bodied to rebuild everything. So, the only opportunities that I see for this country in the near future are just having that Zimbabwean passion and understanding that this season will come to pass and we will have to rebuild together. We need everyone in the diaspora, in here, in public service, the business community, in the political sphere. We need everyone to come together and rebuild our nation, because no one is coming to help us. Like America,
Do you feel like Zimbabweans don't have a heart for Zimbabwe? Do you feel like we're more pessimistic than we are or optimistic for our country?
I think a lot of hardship that has happened over the years has made us not believe in ourselves anymore. But I just want to read a verse, so that I remind every Zimbabwean.
A verse from where?
This particular one is,
A Bible verse?
it's a Bible verse, yes.
This is actually the first Bible verse we've had on podcast with Pari, and I actually want more of them. This is amazing. So thank you for bringing up the good news for us. I'm keen to hear it.
So Joseph told Pharaoh that 7 years of abundance would be followed by 7 years of famine. After 7 years, the amazing prosperity in Egypt's fields comes to an end. The famine has begun. That's bad news for the region, but it proves God's faithfulness to and through Joseph once more. The Bible tells us that we will go through these phases that are very difficult. We have to be ready, and we cannot afford to lose hope. And us as Zimbabweans have to come together to rebuild our country, and we have to work together. There is no one coming to save us. Uh,
Amen.
China has their own problems. They're fixing their country. America has their own problems.
Well, look at what happened in Dubai. You know.
Yes, you look at Russia, they have their own problems. Ukraine has their own problems. South Africa has its own problems. There's no one who's coming to save us except us Zimbabweans.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
So I implore every Zimbabwean to help out. Sometimes it's not always financial. I've seen some Zimbabwean doctors who actually make time to come from the diaspora and treat people in the rural areas for critical diseases for free. I've seen some people mentoring people in Zimbabwe on how to get along. I've seen people even teaching basic schooling to people who cannot afford to go to
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
So
That's the heart we need from the Zimbabweans, or from every Zimbabwean. Is
From every
that
Zimbabwean, building our nation doesn't necessarily have to mean financial. Building our nation is us working together. And I believe we have millions and millions of Zimbabweans in the diaspora. We have millions and millions of Zimbabweans who are local. And if all of us just come together and have this heart of building our nation, I think,
Are you saying we
oh,
shouldn't rely on the government? Shouldn't rely on our institutions? But you yourself have got the ability to make a difference.
you always need to rely on whatever's around you. You have to use, but even in any country, the government alone cannot help a nation. The I'll take America. You will have a lot of Americans who will tell you the government is not doing as much as it should to help them. You go to any other country, they'll say the exact same thing. So we as a people need to be proud enough of our nation
Yeah.
and start putting in collective efforts to rebuild. And you look at places like Dubai today, it wasn't built by the perfect government. It was built by people who loved a desert. It had nothing. And those people reinvested in what they had to what you see today. We just have to be people who love our country enough to rebuild it to the place we want to see it in the next 20 to 50 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen. And I want nothing more for our country. I want nothing more for our country to be on a level where people are proud to say that I'm Zimbabwe. When people are saying no, I have to move back home to Zimbabwe. Like that's what I want to see. And I think of the way that you're talking. If we are the starters of it now, the starters of the growth and the build. In 10 years' time, we could be sitting in a different country, and you look at Vision 2030, and we're not far away from it. And I think we can get there. It's just about us rallying together now, and holding hands and saying let's work.
I'm always hopeful that anything that we try together, we we win together. It's not every time that everything that works out. I've been in business. I know I've tried certain things that didn't work out, but it's all about the heart. I respect every man who gets into something, tries their best, whether it comes out or not. But we can see that we're trying, and
Yeah.
if we try together, and if everyone rallies behind the efforts, I believe our country can move forward.
Right, good people. This episode is proudly sponsored by MegaSave. MegaSave are your one-stop shop for all your hardware, your grocery, and your alcohol needs. They've got 8 branches around the country, big wholesale chain. And we just want to say a big thank you to MegaSave for your support and your sponsorship. I hope it carries on. Danger. So, talk to me about more money, more problems. Okay, I know. Now you've built a successful brand, a business, but now you got deep pockets. The pockets are full, pockets are long, and I'm sure the problems come along with that. Do you experience that?
I wish they were as long as you thought they were, but but yeah, there are some problems in society. Yeah, I do run a club. I do run certain business ventures. You get into certain situations whereby people expect you to give them money. Like I get to a place and someone just says, "Because you have money, give me money."
Always
And
looking for handouts the whole time.
sometimes, and it's really tough because like some people like genuinely think that I have more than I do. So
Yeah.
and
And that's probably why you're saying now, Kudi, the pockets aren't that deep. To
no,
just
no, like they're not really that deep. Like for Zimbabwean, yes, but for the rest of the world, no. You see guys making 200 billion US dollars net worth, and you see the amount of wealth in the world. So I only dream to get to.
And jobs wise and opportunity wise, do people ask you for jobs? Sort of plug you into opportunities.
Yeah, but it's expected in an environment like this whereby everyone is just trying to make ends meet. So a lot of people ask if a lot of people ask for help. A lot of people ask for jobs, and we, as a family, we make it a point to help as many people as we can.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
but you also know our culture, even at like, even when we're at family events or
yeah,
whatnot, and kunana sekuru nana nana gogo, and they say, no, we're struggling here. We need this here. Even family pressures. I'm sure family. You've got to carry the weight of that on your shoulders, and everyone wants an opportunity. From the muzukuru who's 7 times just destroying to do hasn't been there for 10 years.
I like a quote from Spider Man
Oh.
that says, with great power comes great responsibility. So it is what I know that I have to do. I know that I have to take care of my family. I know I have to take care of the community at large. Sometimes it is out of my means because, like, sometimes it becomes overwhelming, but I do not shy away from my responsibility to the community.
Amen.
Yeah.
And in our culture, it's black tax.
Yeah.
It's black tax. You've got to pay that tax as
Yeah, you have to.
just by being black in Zimbabwe and
You have to.
African. It's that tax to the
Yeah.
to the people around you,
Yeah.
to the people that have been close to you forever. We go back to like Mashwede,
Yes.
okay, and we go back to the club, and we see some of the guests and the people that you've had there. Tell me what's been your, in terms of building that club. What was the vision behind it? Why build Mashwede Village?
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, my dad was the major reason. He was like, let's put it there. But when we saw the opportunity there, we sat down as a team, and we figured this could be an avenue for us to market our entire brand of products that we're selling. So intentionally, we actually sat down with the team. We told them that, you know how someone says Colgate instead of saying toothpaste,
Yes.
someone says Coca-Cola instead of saying fizzy drink.
Yes.
We wanted them to say Mashwede when they thought of coming back home to Zimbabwe to have a good time, going out and just having a good time. Mashwede was supposed to be that brand.
So it was more to also build the name of the group around it.
Yes. So for us initially, we invested heavily in the marketing and creating that because we saw that it had other benefits in terms of marketing our brand.
So does the actual entity itself make you? Is that the Mashwede? Is that good money making, or is it not
It,
really? It's
it
more the everything else.
initially it started off like turning out a lot of money. Like we're spending a lot of money to market it. You'd get some of the top musicians in the country, top socialites, Miss Red, Ja Praiser, Enzo, Nati
And you'd have
O,
to pay them to come.
would pay them their dues to come. They'll come interact with people. But for us, we were still building this. Then it got to a point whereby it was now making money, but it went through because our intention was never to make the money. It was always to market the everything else, all the other products that we had through the club.
So, like, say you get someone like Miss Red or Ja Praiser.
Yeah.
They weren't even coming to what? You're saying they weren't even coming to perform. They were just there. You would pay them to come.
Uh, Most of the time, they would pay them to come. Then, because they see their fans and they feel the love, they would end up just singing maybe a song or two. But they were tasked to sit down and enjoy a good time.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant. Hey, and that's but how's the genius behind that? And have you seen that now affect your other brands because of the name Mashwede? Are
Yeah.
you now known from freaking all over the world? Is that because of this?
It's been really intentional. Like as I said, I've had a really really amazing team. My dad, my brother, and the people I work with at the club. People have put in tireless hours to build Mashwede to be what it is today.
How much time would you say? So when it was going when it was picking up, how much time would you be spending at that place at Mashwede?
Like probably too much, but
Like how much is too much?
okay. I do have a young family. I've got three boys, and I'm also taking care of my niece. I'm married, so it was taking a toll after some time. The amount of time I was spending at the club. So
So your family was starting to feel the pressure.
yeah, I was starting to feel
But
the
surely your
pressure.
wife can see like the long term vision, or the family can see the long term vision of like, do you know what? We are, if hubby carries on doing this, we can, in 10 years time, or what?
Like
She must be
with
an
the
angel.
like for her, like I do appreciate her. Like she's very supportive. She's supported me the whole way. But like even she's not Mother Teresa. Like like at some point it was taking a toll on us and our relationship. So with time I had to cut down, and now you will see less of me at the night spots to try to make more time for my family. So yeah.
Wifey, we love you and we love the support, but surely there's also some bad things that are always in the DMs, or they because they know the lifestyle. So there must be some baddies out there that are.
My wife is very supportive, and like I doubt like anything like that would ever happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's well,
Mm.
I can only imagine being a man in your any nightclub owner around town. I'm sure it comes with territory.
Yeah, it is tough, but I know what I have to lose. What's there on the table? So yeah, I'll work hard to keep my family.
Even when you brought out that Bible verse, today, I knew
Yeah.
that Munu Wamwar, he's a God fearing man today. So I trust that you uphold the family and all those, no matter what temptations may come your way.
Yeah.
But I also want to know about some of so you've bring in people like the Chill Spot group and the music industry. What's your relationship with these guys on an individual level, on a club level? What's your relationship like with them?
So over the years, I've gotten to meet a lot of people with a lot of talent. Like you mentioned, Chill Spot. There's a time I sat down with Enzo Aishal, and he was freestyling anything and everything like around us. He's such an amazing talent. I sat down with Holy Ten when he was still on the come up, and the amount of talent we have in Zimbabwe. And I'm just mentioning a few of the top
And I
guys.
work no one bullshit.
Wicknell has always been a close family friend to my father. Oh, his father was close with my father to us. He grew up with my older brother, but I can't say he's been there yet. I think he will come for the Changamira Awards to be hosted tomorrow.
What are your thoughts on
Yeah.
these cars that Wicknell's giving to our beloved artists, our people, the people around us? What he's giving to what he's giving to the people.
Wicknell has always had a very big heart, and kudos to him for showing love to everyone. It's always really inspiring to see a Zimbabwean who's willing to think about other people besides themselves. We need more people like that who have the heart to keep giving.
Are you going to start giving cars and houses to your fans and followers,
Unfortunately,
to your artists that come?
unfortunately, my pockets are not yet that deep. But like, if I do get to the point, yes, I would love to.
You do the same. I want to also just touch on say myself. My father. I came from the Parenyato household, who people know the hospital. You've come from the Mashwedes. Now you're raising three boys and your niece. What sort of things are you trying to instill into your children? What do you want them to learn? What have you learned from your father? Who's been revolutionary in the Zimbabwean industry. What are you also trying to impart to the next generation?
I think what my father has taught me over the years is simply nothing comes easy, and the most difficult thing to keep is your integrity. I'll give you an example. There was when we were still trying to get into the fuel industry, we're looking for people who could trust us with the fuel supply. So myself and my brother wore our best suits, went to pitch. Um, we went, we put our pitch there, best numbers you can think of. It looked pretty. The guys looked at it for 15 seconds, said, "I'm busy right now. Come back next week." We go back next week. Best pitch. Nah, I'm not sure. Then we asked him, okay, can we come with our old man so that you meet our old man? He's like, okay, fine. I can only give you 15 minutes because I'm a really busy man. So we come back with the old man. We told the old man we've got 15 minutes. My old man starts talking. He talks about this, he talks about that. 2 hours later, we're about to leave. On our way to the door, he's like, oh, yeah, we actually came here about that deal. They said, no, 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 we're working with you.
It's done.
A few years later, I asked the guy on the other side, why did you help us that time? He's like, I made a call to someone who used to work with your dad 15 years ago.
Wow.
And all he said was, that guy, you saw him. His shirt is always up to his belly here. It's always wide open. That guy is one of the best guys you ever meet.
Really? And integrity.
Integrity. And that statement created what you see Mashwede today. It wasn't what we did last week, last month. It's what happened 15 years before that day.
But now, you see, now going off the back of that,
Yeah.
this is where we can see a big problem in our country is integrity between us or the younger generation. Do you find people to be integrous here in Zim?
I think the situation on the ground has created a lot of people who are no longer trustworthy. Everyone's willing to do whatever it takes to get the latest house, latest car, and unfortunately, we're losing our morals.
Everyone wants to make a quick buck.
Everyone wants to make a quick buck. Unfortunately, it has consequences in the long term. And us as the young people have to know that our integrity is the only thing we have to our name. If you do not have money in your pocket, but integrity in your heart, you're already rich. Because your time and chance will come. And when it does, your integrity is the one that is going to cross you over that line. If you lose it today for a few dollars, you will lose everything in the future.
So where are we going as a young population?
As a young population, unfortunately, we're not living by that, and I am really worried about that. I hope that we do have enough role models that are going to get people to start actually really appreciating integrity in our community.
I think it's a big worry. It's a big fear because but even in 10 years' time, when the system or not the system, but if things get better, just in terms of the economy or whatever, is Zimbabwe are the young people gonna grow that? Or are we so corrupt in our minds that even if and our actions that even if things change, we're still just corrupt, just because we've been brought up corrupt?
One thing that I've seen about anyone, if you cross an imaginary line called a border from Zimbabwe to any other country, do you know you actually stop at the traffic lights and wait for the first car to go, then you go next, and there's order? That line doesn't exist. A border doesn't exist. We create the Zimbabwe we want. Right now, you get into town, you see people driving across in haphazard ways because we are not creating the Zimbabwe we want. The moment we create it, it will become exactly what we want.
I look. I think that's a very chivalrous statement. I don't know if I personally agree with it. I don't know if I agree that we are going to that we're going to see we're going to see the change that we want to see in terms of the mindset of the people. And I think that has to start. It has to start from somewhere. It has to start from the top. You know, it has to start from, you know, us being policed correctly. Us being, you know, because if people know there's a consequence to something you've done, then that only then. But if nothing changes there, are things really going to change? That's my opinion.
And it's tough, but everything is impossible until it's done. So I do agree with you. Right now, we are not the model citizens when it comes to most of the things that are happening. But that's why I ask, I plead with every Zimbabwean, let us build together.
Do you see a middle class in Zim?
Unfortunately, now with the high unemployment in the country, I don't really see a middle class. No, I can't say I do.
So you think the disparity of wealth here is
It's pretty high. Yeah.
and you growing up, I don't know if you've experienced both sides of the spectrum, but what's allowed you to sort of remain so humble? What's allowed you to be the Mash we see today?
There's someone who once came to me as a young boy. Um, I was showing everyone that I got new shoes, flaunting them everywhere, and he came to me and said, "Young man, do you know it's bad manners to talk whilst you're eating?" By that, he just meant when you have more than others, it's not in good taste to show to boast about it. Instead, share and get everyone to enjoy the little that's there.
Amen. Do you know what? On that note, I think that is the perfect place to end this episode. I'm so glad you've come on, and thank you for your time. I think what you said today, everyone can take something away from that. So danger. Now is your time. If you've got any last words to say to the people, anything you've got going on, anything at all, please. This is your camera. Be yourself. Be yourself, babe.
Okay, so like I recently started a journey on I'm doing my MBA, Masters in Business Administration with the UCT Business School, and it has literally changed my perspective in terms of a lot of the way I see a lot of things. Like I now see things from a more macro perspective than a micro perspective, and I do hope that anyone who does have the ability or to ever do such a program, not necessarily at UCT, but anywhere in the world, like actually take it up. It is so amazing. And I hope that every Zimbabwean watching this, you take it upon yourself to build Zimbabwe. And remember, building doesn't necessarily mean brick and mortar, doesn't mean finances. It means contribute towards the life or the lives of other Zimbabweans in any way you can, because us as a nation, we need each other right now. Thank you.
There you have it, people. Danger, taps, mash. Thank you for those parting words, and I might look at that business school myself, you know. And thank you. Let's build Zimbabwe. Thank you for your time. What a beautiful time to be alive. All right, cheers, ciao, 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 bye, 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 bye.